r/AITA, am I the a-hole for ditching my husband's celebration dinner because I couldn't eat anything on the restaurant's menu? Story 1. My husband has been working really hard for the last 2 years to move up the ladder at his job, and he finally got the promotion he's been chasing after. I'm incredibly proud of him, and his parents are too. To celebrate, they wanted to take us all out to dinner. Now, my husband absolutely adores prime rib, and there's only one place in our area that serves it. So naturally, he chose that restaurant. Here's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of steak. I'll eat it, but it's not my first choice. I'm more of a chicken or fish person. Before we left for the restaurant, I decided to check out the menu online, and to my disappointment, they had a limited menu at the moment. There was only one fish option and 2 chicken dishes, but none of them really appealed to me. I suggested to my husband that we consider going somewhere else so that everyone could enjoy their meal. He hesitated, pointing out that we often dine at other places in our area, which is true, but those other spots offer a wider variety of options, ensuring that everyone can find something they like. His next idea was that I could ask a restaurant if they could prepare the fish or chicken without all the fancy marinades and sauces. While I appreciated his suggestion, I didn't want to be a bother to the kitchen staff. Then he proposed that I order dessert while everyone else enjoyed their entrees. Once we were done, he'd take me to a different place so I could have dinner while he and the kids indulged in dessert. In the end, I decided not to go to dinner. I didn't want to sit there, not eating and not having a good time, while everyone else was. My husband really wanted me there to celebrate with him, but I declined, telling him he needed to get going before he was late. He went ahead to the restaurant with the kids. However, he returned a little over an hour later with takeout boxes in hand. He explained that he couldn't think of a good way to explain to the kids why I didn't join without making me look bad or lying. So he got them orders to go and let them spend some time with their grandparents in the parking lot. I suggested that he should have stayed, but he argued that I put him in a tough spot with the kids. He insisted that I knew how important it was for him to have all of us there and that I should have just overlooked my picky eating for one night. So the question remains, am I the one at fault here? Update, some of the comments I received were pretty harsh, but they gave me a reality check. I've sincerely apologized to my husband, and as a gesture of making amends, I'm planning to take him to that restaurant this weekend. I'll also buy him some camping gear he's been eyeing. It's a start to making things right and changing my approach. Calm down, folks. Before we jump into roasting the wife, let's take a moment to congratulate her husband on his hard-earned promotion. It's heartwarming to hear that she's proud of him, but oh boy, she did kind of sound fussy about her decision that night. Seriously, she had the nerve not to attend her husband's celebratory dinner just because she couldn't find anything to eat. She made it perfectly clear that she rarely eats steak, but isn't a special occasion like that the rare time to indulge? I'm pretty sure any restaurant would have offered her plenty of alternatives if steak or other meat dishes weren't her thing. They had at least 3 entree options for her, not to mention a variety of appetizers or drinks and desserts she could have enjoyed. Instead, she opted out of joining her family that night. To be honest, the story shouts, "Yeah, it's all about me and my picky eating." Her decision to stay away may have seemed a bit selfish, and it's clear that it put a damper on the night. The guy summed it up perfectly when he mentioned that he couldn't think of a way to explain to the kids why his wife didn't attend without making her look bad. After all, it was his special event, and he even made suggestions to accommodate her. Yet in the end, the wife didn't seem to consider conceding to her man's wish for this one special night. I can't help but wonder why she couldn't sacrifice a bit of her comfort for an hour or so to celebrate her SO's achievement. From her story, it's evident that she prioritized her own food preferences and inadvertently made a thoughtless mistake by not participating in her husband's celebration for a job well done. Lady, this is your man's moment, not yours. What's more puzzling was how she found it appropriate to excuse herself from the plan when she doesn't even have any food allergies, just some picky eating issues. Well, okay, let's try to see things from the wife's perspective as well. Maybe she was concerned that she wouldn't enjoy the food and would have put on a fake "there's no place I'd rather be" face at the dinner. However, it's clear that her decision was solely based on her own worries. She became insensitive to how her husband, kids, and in-laws would feel about her absence on that important night. I'm also baffled by her fear of asking the kitchen staff for substitutions. Anyone who's worked in a restaurant knows that it's usually not a big deal for the chef to accommodate special requests, like leaving off a sauce or preparing a plain chicken breast. She could have acted more maturely and been a supportive partner by exploring the options available at the restaurant. Unfortunately, she seemed like she couldn't care less about it. We've gone over her mistakes, but it's a relief to see that she eventually had a reality check and offered a heartfelt apology to her husband. It's like witnessing good character development. Even though the dinner might not seem like a big deal to some, it clearly meant a lot to her husband. I hope the wife continues to learn how to be more understanding with her partner. And let's face it, we can't expect our partners to pamper us all the time. Some days it should be the other way around. Compromise should be the norm. Both partners should be willing to meet each other halfway. Effective communication plays a vital role here because that's what you learn in a relationship, especially in a marriage. You're two unique individuals with different tastes, but what's important is finding that middle ground.
Ooh, something came in the mail today. I wonder what it is. It's Rufus rugs!
Got him!
Now, hopefully after this ad plays, you two can say you got him! A rug from Rufus Rugs. Now me and the boys have been grinding non-stop 24/7, making one-of-one hand-tufted premium rugs. Now there's a chance you own a carpet that looks something like this. Let's just be real, it's time for an upgrade. And luckily for you, me and the boys from Rufus Rugs are at your service. We don't make those average cheap quality looking rugs. Nope, not gonna happen. Each one is handcrafted to perfection. No shortcuts, no robot assembly lines, and no dropshipping BS. Just pure rug grind. Whether you love anime, sports, cars, or anything else you can think of, we can turn it into a rug. So click the first link in the description and have your custom idea come to life.
Story 2. Am I the jerk for embarrassing my cousin and getting us kicked out of a restaurant? I'm a 25-year-old woman and I don't have kids yet. Growing up, I never really wanted them, but I figure I'll eventually have kids in the future once I get my life together. My cousin Sarah, who's 29 years old, has 2 badly behaved kids from a previous relationship and a newborn baby with her 40-year-old boyfriend MJ. Last night, my mother, sister, Sarah, and I went to a sushi restaurant, and this was my first time having sushi. After we ordered, I had a hard time using the chopsticks. My cousin started obnoxiously laughing. The waiter came over and asked me if I wanted training wheels, which is a little plastic item that attaches to the chopsticks and helps you hold them in place. My cousin laughed and said, "Sorry about her, she constantly embarrasses herself and us." I just gave her the side eye and put the training wheels on. When it was time to order desserts, her boyfriend MJ finally joined us, claiming that he was quote-unquote busy. She went on to tell him how stupid and slow I was for not knowing how to use chopsticks, and how the waiters and everyone around now know that I'm an embarrassment. My mom asked her what her problem was, and she went on a rant about how I'm so embarrassing and it's no wonder I'm jealous of her being a mother and no one wants to have kids with me. I finally had enough. I said, I don't have kids because I don't want them to come out like you're rude pieces of crap, and you're calling me an embarrassment? Didn't MJ just have a baby with his wife? Your baby literally has a sibling a week apart. He probably learned how to use chopsticks by eating his wife's leftovers. When she was attacking me, it was fine because everyone turned on me. It got so loud that management had to get involved. Sarah was screaming and crying. MJ was yelling at me. My mom and my sister were berating me for being mean. Management brought the bill and told us to please pay it and leave. My mom paid the entire bill, but my sister said I'm an a-hole for embarrassing Sarah and getting us kicked out, and how she's probably going through postpartum depression. Now, I don't know if I went too far, seeing as she's probably going through some post-baby stress. Am I the bad cousin here? So, update. Thank you all for the overwhelming responses. I've been wanting to put Sarah in her place for a while now, and I'm glad I did. However, Sarah's mom got involved and is mad at me. Apparently, MJ told Sarah that he and his wife were separating. Sarah found out that he lied because she was secretly stalking his wife's Facebook page, and got the shock of her life when wifey posted a newborn baby and MJ was there for the birth. Sarah did the math and realized that he got both of them pregnant the week of his birthday. She confronted him about it and he confirmed it. He also said that she'll have to get over it or he'll leave. So she stayed and is now constantly in shambles. Not my problem. Now on to the problem. She kept the wife's baby a secret and only told her mom, who told my mom, who told my sister and me. So they said that they were pissed because I wasn't supposed to repeat it. But I didn't know then that it was classified information. After like a week, that's like all everyone talked about. Sarah's mom, my aunt, reached out to me this morning and said that Sarah's problem with me is that I always said I don't like kids and only a horrible person won't like kids, and that I was mean to her about her kids. 2 months ago, she wanted to go to a party with MJ and asked me to watch her kids, all three of them, for free. I told her no because they were untrained. I don't feel comfortable watching a newborn, and she'll have to pay me to put up with the other two. So I guess that's why she's still holding grudges. Sarah's mom said she was having a really hard time after finding out about the outside baby, who technically is the inside baby, as Sarah's baby is the outside baby, but whatever. And she wants me to apologize for putting her business out there for everyone else. She got my mom and sister involved, so I just called Sarah and apologized. She just said, "I don't care what you have to say," and hung up. Regardless, I held up my end of the bargain. Hopefully this gets blown over soon because gosh, the girl is tired. Oh man, the cousin's relationship with that guy is quite complex. It's even borderline sad. But before we dive into that, let's tackle the main problem at the restaurant first. Seriously, who hasn't struggled with chopsticks on their first sushi food trip? We've all been there, right? But instead of a friendly laugh or some helpful advice, the cousin decided to take the low road and make a spectacle out of it. What she did to our girl here was definitely worth a bombastic side-eye. I mean, yeah, most women do experience postpartum depression, but that's no excuse for displaying such bad behavior towards someone, even a family member, during a meal. She didn't have to label her cousin as an embarrassment and create a scene in front of the waiter. Come on, that's just plain rude and unnecessary. Sure, we could forgive her for saying it once, but to repeat it in a worse tone, using words like stupid as if she didn't realize her previous remark already sounded off, could really stir up trouble. It's as if she was trying to provoke the girl repeatedly with her callous words, asking for a commotion to start. And no, post-baby stress can't excuse her from starting such a mess, so I believe it was only natural for the girl to feel offended and talk back. Also, when she saw the cousin's busy boyfriend and remembered how messed up her cousin's life choices were, it added fuel to the fire. Her anger really flared up. The girl's words might have sounded sharp as knives, but they were grounded in significant concerns, unlike what her cousin did, insulting her over something as minor as chopsticks. However, I could say that she could have handled it better by not mixing up her emotions and getting aggressive over the dinner table commotion due to her frustration with her cousin's poor taste in men, especially with the suspicious boyfriend present. But at the same time, we can understand that the cousin's attitude really got on her nerves, and she might have just thought it was best to respond by giving her cousin a reality check. The first shots were fired by the cousin in the first place anyway. Our girl was just simply fed up. And looking on the bright side, her accusations about the boyfriend weren't false, so she can't be blamed for aggravating her cousin's relationship. She was just laying bare her cousin's poor life choices, and if her cousin had taken her sharp words to heart, she might have realized sooner that it was time to leave that lying partner and take good care of her children. Her cousin seems to have a certain ego about her, thinking people will always defend her, that she easily plays the victim when she's actually in the wrong. Meanwhile, our girl here is considered the black sheep. She seems like she's dishing out some tough love for her cousin, criticizing her parenting and love life, but the cousin just couldn't get it. I, myself, think it's a good thing to have that kind of person in your life, someone who isn't afraid to point out your mistakes. We all need that factor to assess whether we've made the right decisions or not. But I have to praise this girl for standing her ground and realizing it's best if we just let her hard-headed cousin be. Sometimes you have to move forward if someone you're trying to help takes your words for granted. Perhaps the lesson we should take from this is that you can't expect other people to respect you if you don't offer them a share of respect too. It's the golden rule, right? Cut out the saltiness, be kind, and you'll receive respect in return. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for turning my sister-in-law gay? Throwaway, I'll keep this short. I'm a 30-year-old lesbian, been out and proud since 2005. I've been living with my brother and his wife since the start of 2019, a year before quarantine happened. But this drama stuff blew up within the last couple of weeks. Okay, so I asked to move into my sister-in-law's place for a while so I could save up for a nicer place. My last apartment was in a dangerous area, and I didn't feel safe living there. They agreed because they knew my situation, and my brother-in-law thought it would be a good idea for him to have someone around while he was gone. FYI, he's a truck driver and is gone for over a week at a time and had to leave her sister home alone. All right, well, their house isn't a mansion, but it's roomy enough to where I could have my then friends with benefits over some nights a week without worrying that I'd be disturbing my sister-in-law. Their bedroom is across the house from my room or the guest room, and I asked if it was cool with both beforehand, and they said as long as I and anyone I brought over was quiet and respectful, it'd be okay. So I would regularly bring over my girlfriends who I was dating at the time, but that all stopped once quarantine happened. Well, bro and I still have our jobs. My sister-in-law and I have been hanging out more since we're pretty much the only company we get, but I noticed she'd been acting odd for a month or so into the quarantine. But I figured it was just cabin fever jitters, understandable. But then the last few times bro came home, things between him and his wife were a little off. I figured they were having a spat and it didn't involve me. Well, apparently it did because bro came home a couple of days ago and things were still tense. I didn't even eat dinner with them, I just ate in my room. But after dinner, I heard yelling from the other side of the house. Before I could get up to check it out, I heard stomping feet. Then bro busted into my room and started cussing me out, saying I ruined his marriage, and my sister-in-law was yelling at him to stop and that it wasn't her fault. I'm just so confused. I asked what on earth was even happening. I don't think I have enough space to type out the nitty-gritty of the conversation, but apparently my sister-in-law was a closet lesbian and she came out to bro after dinner. She explained that seeing me so happy and out made it hard for her to keep up the lie. I'm still speechless because I had no clue she was anything but straight. I'm not saying gaydar is real, but usually I'll at least get a vibe. But then bro says I'm an evil a-hole and I turned his wife gay and how he never should have let me move in. My sister-in-law told him to stop and how she would have come out eventually with or without me being there. I felt really awkward and bro said I needed to be gone by the time he returned from his next trip, which was heartbreaking because he really looked like he hated my guts. I feel like such a jerk. My sister-in-law and bro always seemed so happy, like the perfect couple before this even happened. But I called my friend and she said I'm not the a-hole, I'm just tired and unsure. So what do you say? Am I the a-hole here? Just an update. Hey guys, sorry for the dead silence. Well, I moved out, got my new place, and it's pretty nice. It's weird not having anyone here when I get back from work, but I'm sure that's just because I've been living at bro's place so long. But I know you all just want to hear about my brother or my sister-in-law and not my new place, so here's what. Bro and his wife are definitely getting divorced. I moved out before he got back, just like he wanted. Before I did, though, bro called me and we talked on the phone while he was off the clock. As a lot of you predicted, he asked if my sister-in-law and I slept together at any point. I'm now proud, but I sort of flipped my shit on him for that. He knows my dating history, and he knows how I feel about cheaters. I told him it hurt to know he thinks I'm no better than my cheating ex, that I cared so little about our bro-sis relationship that I'd actually share the bed with his wife, whom I reiterated that I only see as a sister, but even if I didn't, I'd still never cheat. He broke down, you guys, full-on, ugly, crying on the phone. It was awkward, but I think he really needed it. He apologized for everything, going ballistic on me, kicking me out during that tough time, thinking I'd cheat with anyone, everything. I told him thanks, but I needed a time to forgive him. The hurt's not going to disappear just because he said sorry, but it helped soothe it, and I said I still love him. He said I didn't have to move out, but I said I was already in the process of getting my new place, so it was fine. I could tell he felt bad still, but I didn't try to placate him. Some of you said I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't say it's okay because it's not. How he treated me isn't okay. But he told me he and his wife were definitely splitting up. I told him I figured so, what with everything. No counseling can save a marriage where one partner is gay, but I didn't say that. He tried to lighten the mood by saying he asked my sister-in-law about the cheating thing first, and she flipped her shit on him even worse than I did. He said it jokingly, but I can tell he was serious. I asked what she said, and he sort of sounded awkward, but said she told him. I found out I was gay, but that doesn't mean I'm some cheating drab. That and just how he was gross for thinking she'd sleep with a girl, let alone her husband's sister. Also, it was messed up that he just automatically assumed she would hop on the first gay woman in her vicinity when they were still very much married. And it was just all around not received well by my sister-in-law, which I can understand. Being accused of cheating by people you love hurts pretty bad. Last I checked, things were civil between bro and my sister-in-law. She moved fully into the other bedroom so she and he could have space, I guess, for when he was home. Sister-in-law is trying to move their divorce along, but from what I've heard, bro is sort of dragging his feet. I don't know what's going on there, and I haven't asked. Not my business, to be honest. Our family is disappointed that they're splitting up, but with the circumstances, they understand it's necessary. I talk to bro a few times a week, just texting, but I also told him about how there are support groups for spouses whose partners came out as gay, and he should probably check them out. It would help him through this. He sounded hesitant, but he said he'd look into it, so that's good. I don't know if he actually will, but I hope he does. I also pointed my sister-in-law in the direction of some threads for people who realized they were gay while in a straight relationship. She was thankful. And that's about it. I still speak to my sister-in-law. I'd feel like crap just cutting her off, as some people suggested. She's like my big sister. I've known her for years, and aside from this, she's been nothing but the best wife or sister-in-law ever. So I don't know if we're all moving forward, but at least it wasn't a sad update. Peace, everyone, and thanks for helping me work this problem out. So the girl kind of became some sort of unconscious liberator in this story. But honestly, I don't think she did anything wrong here. I mean, sure, it might seem like her sister-in-law got inspired by her happiness and freedom, but let's be real, it was all her own choice. You can't blame anyone for influencing someone's orientation and finding out her preference. It's on the person themselves. So, sorry, bro, but it's not your little sister's doing. People change, and it's not always because of someone else. The sister just wanted to be true to herself and find happiness. There's nothing wrong with that. She probably felt pretty awkward being stuck in the middle of her brother and wife drama and then getting accused of cheating. And that's a real low blow, man. But I do understand where the brother's anger came from. It was directed toward his wife and their marriage and concern. He was bewildered and felt betrayed. Discovering that the love of your life had been keeping such a significant secret from you for all these years must have come as a devastating shock. He felt indirectly told that he was no longer needed. While his wife's reasons may be both understandable and unavoidable, that doesn't change the fact that he was the one left out in the cold. Yet he could have handled it better by not reacting so strongly. We must try to accept that one's sexuality, whether homosexual or heterosexual, is a defining feature of one's personality. The guy must understand that his wife must be allowed to acknowledge her true orientation. As for the wife, I respect her decision to find herself, but I think it was not the best time and way to reveal it. I mean, she could have anticipated that her husband would be really outraged, and the guy's little sister would be involved. Well, no one has perfect hindsight when it comes to issues concerning gender, but it would have been a lot easier to have it made it clear before they tied the knot. Some could practically say they were born that way, while others come to terms with their homosexuality later in life. We don't know why, but maybe they were too scared of the stigma, given society's strong sense of masculine pride or machismo. In the end, they all made the right call, little sister moved out, and the couple decided to part ways. Let's just hope they can all move forward one step at a time. That's it, folks, and if you enjoyed this one, you're in for a treat with I Don't Care If You're Pregnant. Story number 2 will truly leave a mark. I'll see you there, and thanks for watching.